PHILARM, and co-hosted by my very own Bulacan Agricultural State College. Please use the hashtag tulong-tulong sa pagbangon when you post about this webinar. And to get a feel of our participants, we would like to ask you to join us in our poll. Okay, please click from which Philippine island you are from. Okay, so far we're seeing participants from Luzon. Okay, so we're also seeing participants from Visayas and Mindanao. Okay. Okay, so most of our participants are coming from Luzon. We also have one from outside the Philippines. We have 2 participants from Visayas and 1 participant from Mindanao. So we would like to acknowledge our participants, those who have registered. We have registered participants from Partido State University, from Benguet State University. We also have participants from UPLB, the Philippine Rubber Research Institute, Bataan Peninsula State University, De La Salle University, Laguna, Central Mindanao University, Mindanao State University, Eastern Samar State University, Camarines Norte State College, Laguna State Polytechnic University, Cavite State University, City College of Calamba, Samar State University, Hangkyong National University from Korea, National Meat Inspection Service. We also have participants from Baliwag University, ADB and DSWD, and of course from Bulacan Agricultural State College. Thank you all for joining us in this webinar for a cause. Now, to welcome us in today's webinar, let me call on the hardworking president of Bulacan Agricultural State College, Dr. Jameson H. Tan. Let us give him a warm virtual applause. Sage, can you unmute Aimee Esguerra? Sorry. Let's see.
Okay. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Thank you, Ma'am Leah. In behalf of Bulacan Agricultural State College, I am very happy to see you all here through online and to welcome you to the webinar for a cause of the Project Pagbangon, organized by Pagkalinga, PHILARM, and BASC. I hope that our activity today will help us to think not only on what we are doing as educators, but also how we are doing so that in the end, we deliver the results that improve our own institutions, both in the area of instruction and in research. At the outset, I wish to thank the presenters for today, Dr. Socorro, Aguja, and Ms. Honeylen May Galfo-Libunao to share their expertise. I recognize that I have taken time and made the extra effort to prepare the presentations, and for this, I wish to commend them. I also thank those who have accepted to participate in this webinar for a cause and for being with us. As we participate in these sessions today, I would like us all, as an educator, to reflect on how we can capitalize on our different perspectives and mandates to accelerate the status of academic instruction and research in the institutions we serve. Muli, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. We are very well inspired that we are all gathered here today for a good cause. Now, let us watch the following videos to show you the beginnings of Pagkalinga, to be followed by a message from our very dear chairperson, Ms. Patricia Anti Medina.
All right, so good morning, everyone. You have seen the videos of how it all started. We were classmates turned friends at the UPLB College of Public Affairs. And because of that, it was instilled in us that there are a lot of work to be done in the communities. So as you may already know, Pagkalinga, meaning to care, is a movement initiated by CPAF graduate students taking PhD in community development, extension education, and development studies. We were later joined by several graduate students who share a common cause to reach out and give hope to communities in need. From April 12 to 30 of this year, we facilitated Project Pag-abot, our passion project, which was a donation drive to keep healthcare professionals safe from COVID-19 by giving personal protective equipment. Through this project, we have raised more than 300,000 in a month's time, which reached 15 hospitals, 3 rural health units, 3 LGUs, and an orphanage all throughout Laguna. And now, our commitment to communities in need continues. Through this webinar series we called Project Pagbangon, we hope to help our countrymen devastated by Typhoon Ulysses. And we thank you all for being a part of it. May you continue to support future endeavors of Pagkalinga as we try to reach and serve more communities in need. And we hope you have been encouraged to do the same. Mas madaming tutulong, mas maraming matutulungan. Kaya muli, tulong-tulong tayo sa pagbangon. Maraming salamat po and have a great day.
Thank you, Pat. Now, for the highlight of our day. As educators, it is important for us to be at the forefront of knowledge generation. Today, we have the opportunity to listen to Dr. Socorro Echevarria Aguja. Dr. Aguja is currently a professor and vice dean of the graduate school at De La Salle Araneta University. Likewise, she has previously held professorial posts at the Institute of Arts and Sciences of the FEU Manila, St. Paul's College Manila, and at the Science Education Department of De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Aguja has also served as the Graduate Studies Coordinator at the Catholic University of Mozambique in Quamba, Mozambique, during her 3-year assignment from 2006 to 2009 as a VSO volunteer in Mozambique, Africa. Dr. Aguja obtained her PhD in horticulture and her MS in agriculture from the United Graduate School of Agricultural Sciences and College of Agriculture of the Ehime University in Japan, respectively, as a Japan Ministry of Education or Monbushu Scholar. While her undergraduate degree in agriculture, major in plant protection with specialization in plant pathology was completed at the then Visayas State College of Agriculture, or VISCA, now known as Visayas State University. Her experiences as research assistant at VISCA, Baybay City, Leyte, and as agricultural technologies of the Department of Agriculture Region 8 provided the competency base for her professional engagement and research activities. To date, her research activities are multidisciplinary as it covers the area of citriculture, environmental studies, human capital development, and science education. Her wide range of involvement in both technical and management development conferences and events is coupled with her international research publications and conduct of trainings on science education, technology and media, and environment and health. Her research activities are focused on climate change adaptation, health science, and environmental issues, particularly on the monitoring of persistent organic pollutants and action research in the field of education. She is currently involved in a collaborative research project with Erasmus Plus on action research to innovate science teaching or artists. Dr. Aguja was also involved in activities as research and training consultant of research leaders and managers of state universities and colleges, where she served as mentor under the Executive Development Program for Research at the Development Academy of the Philippines, of which yours truly had been her mentee. Such involvement also extends to the Department of Education, where Dr. Aguja also served as resource person and mentor for the Executive Program for School Superintendents in the country. Her track record in the conduct of research and in publishing research articles in peer-reviewed ISI journals enabled Dr. Aguja to serve as technical reviewer and editor of Science Alert journals and as a volunteer in community development initiatives. In recognition of her outstanding research works, Dr. Aguja was awarded by the National Research Council of the Philippines as the 2016 Lifetime National Achievement Award. During the 84th Scientific Conference and General Assembly held on March 22, 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about facilitating change through action research, let us welcome her with a virtual applause, Dr. Socorro Echevarria Aguja.
Okay. Thank you, Leah, for that very generous introduction. Oops, why am I here? Sorry. Okay, so my talk for today is about facilitating change through action research. Since 2014, we've been working on this action research up to now. With my partner in crime, Dr. Prudente, who is also very much loving this action research. Can you hear me, by the way? Leah, can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So action research, because I just don't want to do research, no? I do research because I want to make a difference. So that's why we're doing research, to make a difference. And in facilitating change, there should be the production of knowledge that may lead to change. Also, with facilitating change, there should be an applied research conducted for the express purpose of enabling effective change, and research that attempts to embed action and change into the actual research process. So as we say that research generates knowledge in order to, one, build broader understanding, and this falls on basic or pure research. Okay? And if the research generates knowledge in order to pave the way for change, this falls under the applied or evaluative research. And if it is about action change within a system, it becomes now an action research, which is technical or practical. And if it emancipates through action, is also an action research that falls into participatory or emancipatory. And for an exposed and it changed the dominate system, it belongs now to the critical or radical ethnography. Those are the researchers that generates knowledge. Okay, so in working towards credibility, we merely have to say that in addition to both positivist and post-positivist indicators of credibility, change-oriented research can also look to usefulness as an indicator of success. So dapat iniisip natin na ang lahat ng ginagawa natin na research ay hindi lang pang requirement, but dapat mayroon pang mas magandang gamit, no? And when we do applied research, it paves the way for change. No? It is often linked to policy, program development, and can include studies that investigate a problem situation, assess potential interventions, or evaluate change initiatives. Now, the action research, which is a practical approach to professional inquiry and is of particular relevance to teachers or lecturers just like us, engaged in our daily contact with students. So it covers a broad array of research strategies that are dedicated to the integrated production of knowledge and the implementation of change, which addresses practical problems, generates knowledge, as I have said a while ago, enacts change, participatory, and relies on a cyclical, self-reflective process. So action research is very reflective. So why should you use action research, by the way? Okay, so you use action research because you want to change your practice. That's what makes action research different from other researchers, because other researchers are looking at other people or other things, no? But in action research, it's all about you. You are putting a lens on you on how you would become a better teacher, how would you become a better manager, how would you become a better superintendent, whatever is your profession. So you do action research because you want to change your practice for the better, huh? For the better. And how does this qualify as a research? Kasi sabi nila, action research lang. Nilalang lang ang action research, no? But mind you, action research follows the same, or you will have to experience the same rigor in doing any research. Because the act of finding your solution makes you understand your practice better. Okay? And what do you mean by practice? Practice is the way you carry out your professional action. So action research therefore, is very applicable to anyone who is a professional, no? So what aspects of your professional practice are you currently interested in developing, for example? As a classroom teacher, sino dito ang classroom teacher? Ako, classroom teacher ako eh. Pero ngayon, na pandemic, wala nang classroom, no? Virtual classroom na. So what aspects of your professional practice are you currently interested in developing? Tanong ko sa inyo lahat yan, isa-isa. Okay? So the most important aspect of action research is that the process enhances teachers' professional development through the fostering of their capability as professional knowledge makers. And action research as a process is emancipatory. So it produces an understanding of the workplace that is very empowering professionally. And action research would let you understand, or would help you understand one's own practice, how to make one's practice better, how to accommodate outside change in one's practice, and how to change the outside to make one's practice better. So how does action research work? So you see that cycle? So it only means to say that it's a never-ending research that you're going to do. Siguro hanggang sa mag-retire ka when you are not practicing anymore your profession, no? So research on action, it is a research on action by using action as a tool for research, with the process being driven by a dialogue between the elements of action and the intentions behind action, or practice and the values behind practice. So you would notice in this cycle that you can start with observing, then reflect, then plan and act. So in the observe part, the research or the data collection is being done, and then you have to reflect because there's a greater reflexivity in this kind of research, and you do the plan for a strategic action plan. I would show you later on how is it done, and then the act is the implementation. So from the act, you go to observe again, reflect, plan, act, observe, reflect, plan, act, and so on. So as practitioners, malamang magiging perfect na tayo, no, in our practice if we keep on doing action research. Kasi never ending naman siya. Pag nakita mong merong, parang may babaguhin ako dito kasi my students are not doing well, no? So gagawa ka naman ulit ng action. Actually, parang nakita ko na ito sa most of the teachers, they are doing something to let their students learn, and that is already an action research because you are improving your practice of teaching, especially in the grade schools, no? And even in the grad school. Kaya lang, nakalimutan yung i-document. So you don't have the data now. Diba? Kasi if you have documented those practices that you have done in your teaching from the year 1 up to now, siguro marami ka ng papel na naisulat about action research. Okay? So the action research process looks like this. It's about identify a classroom problem. If you're a classroom teacher, then you will have to develop and implement that action research plan that you've made, then collect and analyze data. Then after you have analyzed and your data, of course, you will have to interpret and then use and share those results to identify another classroom problem, develop and implement action research plan, collect and analyze data, then using and sharing results again. Sharing is about letting it be known, your results, share it with your colleagues, or you can present it in a research conference, or even publish in peer-reviewed journal for that matter. So as you could see this slide, the plan in there is, okay, hindi ko makita, may nahumaharang dito. May humaharang. Hindi ko makita yung slide. Okay, so in the plan, this is an example, no? That you can maybe, that can help you in your action research as well. So there in the plan says, my students think that science means recalling or recalling facts rather than a process of inquiry. So how can I stimulate inquiry in my students? Change the curriculum, change my questioning, or settle on questioning strategies. So in your plan, you have now the shift questioning strategy to encourage students to explore answers to their own questions. And then from that plan, you act that plan, no? You implement that plan. You try questions which let students say what they mean, what interests them, okay? And then acting on that plan, you observe. So you have to record questions and responses on tape for a couple of lessons to see what is happening. Keep notes of my impression in a diary, you as a teacher, as a teacher researcher, no? And then you reflect. My inquiry questioning is disrupted by my need to keep control in ways the class expects. And after you're done with that cycle, you have another thing, the same thing, no? Revised plan. We call that revised plan again. Then you continue general aim, but reduce number of control statements. And then you implement by using less control statements for a couple of lessons. Then observe by recording on tape questioning, and control statements. Note in diary effects on student behavior. And then you have to reflect if the inquiry develop, but students are more unruly, or how can you keep them on track by listening to each other, probing their questions, or what lessons help. So after this, you would go another cycle, so on and so forth. So it's the same cycle, but uh, just uh, just be mindful what are those actions that you plan to do, so you can have a better result of what data to be gathered, and where those data be gathered, or the sources of this data. Okay. So therefore, we can consider this, if I may ask, can you see any limitations or problems with this kind of approach to professional development, doing action research in particular? So also, action research could be individual or collaborative. So if reflection and practice involves engaging with intentions, values, and beliefs, then strong elements of this will be intensely personal. So it becomes individual, no? And if action research is collaborative in nature, it involves groups of people exploring and challenging the constraints of their professional lives. So how might you enable collaboration in action research in your place of work, if I may ask? And what factors might help or hinder it? Okay, so we have methods, no? So there are the different research methods illuminate only particular aspects of a situation. So you have to take a look at the situation from different perspectives. And then you have to employ, or there is a need to employ triangulation. So when you say triangulation, you see this triangle, no? Kaya nga triangulation kasi ito ay triangle. So you will have their observation of interactions. So this data, which involves observations of interactions, and then interview with students. So what data could you have from interview of students? And then analysis of children's work, something like documents or journal logs, whatever, that you can analyze. So these three are what we call the sources of data that you could work for triangulation. So in action research, we demand that you have at least three sources of data for you to analyze, for you to come up with a better result for that particular action research. In choosing methods as well, there are some important considerations to bear in mind. One is, does the method give a form of data which relates to my question? Angkop ba itong method ko doon sa question kung nakuha or ina-answer? So, is it feasible in the available time? Baka naman it will take 10 years, no? Dapat available time mo, ma-answer mo yung question mo. So, have I made myself aware of strengths and limitations? And will it be an acceptable method for other people involved? Or will it disrupt normal routines? So if the data gathering method presents as much change as the planned action, then how will I know what is having an effect? So in action research, we discourage changes in the normal schedules. Dapat hindi nadidisturbo yung normal routine. Okay? And in doing action research, according to Barrett and Whitehead, these 6 questions would help you start your inquiry in action research. Number 1 is, what is your concern? Followed by, why are you concerned about it? And then, what do you think you could do about it? And what kind of evidence could you collect to help you make some judgment about what is happening? And how would you collect such evidence? And how would you check that your judgment about what has happened is reasonable, fair, and accurate? So the 6 questions are very necessary for you to come up with the first step in action research. So this is an example of a classroom-based action research wherein you have to investigate some concerns, no? Your own practice as a teacher. So beginning the action research process, example like this, you have to reflect on and complete the following open-ended probes to assess you in investigating your initial concerns and identifying a classroom problem or area of change. So this is just an example. So in the boxes, you have different statements to start with, no? In the action research process in a classroom-based action research. So first is, currently in my classroom, I am concerned about. This is aligned to the previous slide I have shown you by Barrett, the 6 questions that they consider a springboard to an action research. And then next is, in order to investigate my concern, I need to collect information on. You have to supply it, no? And then I will gather this information by collecting the following sources of data. What are those? And then to meet my students' needs, I need to focus my instruction on. Ang action research needs a very specific focus. Kasi kung malawakan yun, hindi mo masosolve. I think it's not only in action research. In any research, if you do it in bulk, mahirap yun i-address. Okay? So, that's why I was saying a while ago that you need to have a focus, a very focused topic when you do action research. So there are golden rules for selecting a topic. One is keep it manageable. So to be manageable, it should be kept in a small scale. Second, it should be interesting to you. You may need some perseverance to see the inquiry through, because how can you love that research if you don't interest you? Parang ganun, no? And third, it should be workable. You are not stumped for ideas, but can identify ways in which you might have a go at addressing your question. Workable. So the fourth one is, it is not too disruptive of normal routines, as I was saying a while ago, that it should not disturb others, no? Important here to think not just of your own, no? But others that your actions might affect. So going back to identifying the classroom problem, teachers must first observe, questions, and reflect on the actual current situation in order to investigate the classroom concerns. And it is also critical that you choose a problem that is aligned with the curricular standards as determined with your grade level, school, district, and region. So the problem statement will become the framework of the action research study. So here's another example that we are letting our students who are enrolled in action research do. So, or even when we do some trainings or workshops in action research. So identify a classroom problem, there you have the names, the researchers, the school, the grade level. So the problem statement there says that you have to compose a problem statement specifically describing who is affected, supported causes of the problem, the goal for improvement, and what might be done about the problem as stated. So you have to provide as much specific information as possible. So the principles of action research have listed in our 6. So as I've said, action research is reflexive. No? So it ensures people to reflect on issues and processes and make explicit the interpretations biases, assumptions, and concerns upon which judgment are made. Second principle of action research is it is dialectical critic. So this is required to understand the set of relationships both between the phenomenon and its context, and between the elements constituting the phenomenon. Third, it's collaborative resource. So each person's ideas are equally significant as potential resources for creating interpretive categories of analysis negotiated among the participants or stakeholders. Okay? The fourth is there is risk, no? To allay others' fears and invite participation by pointing out that everyone will be subject to the same process and that whatever the outcome, learning will take place. The fifth principle of action research is the plural structure. So the nature of the research embodies a multiplicity of views, commentaries, and critics, leading to multiple possible actions and interpretations. The last one is the theory, practice, and transformation. So for action researchers, theory informs practice and practice refines theory in a continuous transformation. So there are also limitations of action research. For example, the one that I've listed in there, there are four, no? Lack of time. It's always our excuse, lack of time. And then, pero kung gusto mo, ano mo yun, ma-overcome mo yung lack of time. And then, second is validity as a research. Sabi nila, kung ano yung research na ginagawa mo, depende sa gusto mo, depende sa objectives mo, that could become a limitation in doing action research. And then unfamiliarity with research methods. Natural, pag hindi ka hiyang doon sa gumawa ng research na yun, action research, natural, ang tendency niyan is to flop. No? And the fourth one is action research produces results which are not generalizable. So, kasi nga, for example, if it's a classroom-based, nasa room ka lang, we cannot say that this is true to all classrooms. No? Hindi. Kaya, ang action research is very personal. No? Kung ano yung naranasan mo dyan sa paggawa ng action research, might be to work for others, but not necessarily for all. So that's why it's not generalizable. In summary, action research is about teachers striving to understand and to improve their practice. So the bottom line, this operates at a personal level. It may lead on to collaboration and a critique of the situation in which the practice is carried out, but this does not have to be a fundamental aim. Action research proceeds through a process of planning, action, and reflection upon action. So this can be thought of as an action-reflection cycle. Action research involves the gathering of evidence about practice. Action research involves teachers trying to see the effects of planned change in their practice. Action research strives to be systematic and rigorous. Analysis and knowledge formation in action research belong to the practitioner. So, let me remind you, I have a quote from Dan Brown that Google is not synonym to research. And thank you for the kind attention.
Thank you, ma'am. for that enlightening talk. Please use the chat box to verbalize your questions. So we have the first question here from Ma'am Socorro Victa of Cavite State University. Can you give tips on how to conduct action research virtually?
First and foremost, when you do action research, is that you are interested to do it. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, yung nilista kong tips on doing action research, di mo magagawa ang isang bagay pag hindi mo gusto, di ba? Napipilitan ka na, no? You will not come up with the research. First and foremost, you should be interested in doing action research. And everything will follow. Yun lang yun ang tip ko sa'yo.
Ma'am, may follow-up question. Do you originally devise your own questionnaires?
Yeah, kasi nga it is personal. So kung ano yung problema nakikita mo about your practice, doon mo ibabase yung questionnaire mo, di ba? So depende sa kung ano yung gusto mong improve na practice, doon ibabase yung questionnaire.
From Ma'am Leia Marisa Domingo, ang question po niya is, from your experience, Ma'am, how long does it take to finish an action research from conceptualization of the problem to the end?
Again, it will depend on your objective. No? The objective of your study, of your action research. Depende. Ang haba ay magiging depende sa kung ano yung gusto mong i-improve about your practice. But you can do as much as possible 1 quarter. Ano na nga yun eh. Mahaba na nga yung 1 quarter eh.
What else? Thank you, ma'am. Actually, may follow-up question po si Ma'am Socorro Victa. Is there a website you can refer or a book?
Ay, marami. We have, ano ba yung sa Sage, sa Vera Sage publication, isang book siya about action research from the onset of doing an action research up to the analysis. So the different aspects of action research. Where we happen to be collaborator with Dr. Mary Brydon Miller, we wrote a chapter on it, on that book. It's in International Handbook of Education. Okay, it's on the International Handbook of Action Research, in Educational Action Research. So I think, kasi nga, maybe you can have it in the internet. International Handbook in Educational Research. Kami ni Dr. Mary Brydon Miller, si Dr. Prudente, and yours truly wrote a chapter, it's the 21st chapter in that book. If you are interested, you email me.
So, i-ano na lang po namin, ma'am. Ask na lang po namin yung link, and then we will email it to the participants.
Okay, sige.
Sige po. Thank you, ma'am. Another question here, ma'am. How can teachers ensure that their reflections are research-based and not just based on their personal opinions? So how would they differentiate?
Okay, a reflection starts with the planning of your action research. So it becomes you can be sure of the reflection that it is about your research, because you will not do away, you will not get rid of what is being sought of in your research, for example. So it should start with the planning. From the planning stage of you doing action research, you have to reflect. What have you gone through with the planning? So yun ang mga reflections na dapat gawin nyo as a teacher, as an action researcher. And then yung insights professionally. Anong naitulong sa'yo? What learnings did you come up with in the planning stage, in the do stage, in the data gathering procedure, and up to you finish the the action research. Close-knit yun siya. So those are the reflections that you need. Malalaman mo naman yun eh, as a researcher, for that matter.
Ma'am, in relation po dun sa sinagot nyo kanina, there is a question here na, can you give tips or your basic structure on how to write a report, an action research report?
Okay, hindi ko yan sinali dito eh. Kasi depende yon sa institution eh. Although we worked it out in our series of workshops for action research all over the Philippines, na we came up with, parang inalign na lang namin yung format na provided by the DepEd. Kasi ang sa DepEd, parang more of, yung format is more of kung hihingi ka ng something like funding. So, the format is actually free. Kasi action research is free. Freelance ang format niyan. But in our school, in De La Salle, we came up with one format. If you're also interested, we can share with you.
Okay po, ma'am. I-ano na lang din po namin. Marami na kaming hihinging link sa
It's
inyo.
okay. Basta meron kami ibibigay. We are very willing to share. Wala namang problema doon.
We have another question here from Sarah Janine Esguerra from LSPU.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned triangulation in validating our data. However, in this new normal, how can we ensure the validity of our data, especially the output of our students na hindi po talaga namin personally na-observe na ginagawa nila?
Yes. That's why we have, if you're familiar with the charm, that is community community habit of action research on Mondays. We tackled on this. Everything we talk about action research, no? So for validity of your data using the triangulation approach, kasi kung at least you have 3 sources, no? So in the new normal, marami yun. Maraming, ang pinag-iba lang naman, hindi kayo nag-face to face. Kasi if you record, kami nga nag-online comprehensive exam kami, di ba? Online yun. But you have to come up with a projection na nakikita mo yung monitor, nakikita mo yung pag-encode ng estudyante, half of his or her body nakikita para to lessen yung cheating, for example. So in your case, kasi wala nga tayong face-to-face, pwede ka naman mag-interview through phone. Pwede ka mag-questionnaire na may timer sa Google Forms. Marami yun. Actually, that was one of my talk being, in the charm, conducting action research in the new normal. Maraming paraan. Kasi meron tayong maraming free na popular, common internet devices, applications and softwares na pwede nating gamitin in data collection or data gathering sa action research. Marami. Maybe you can go to, nandun pa kaya yung Bing? Yung YouTube?
Yes.
Sa charm, leader that is LIDER, Aral, ARAL series. Leader Aral webinar series, action research, something like that. That's internet. Sa DLSU. Kasi this is hosted by the leader DLSU. Yung charm, every Monday, andun yun. May series talks yun, naka-record pa rin yun. You can go over on that at the very start. Or you can, mamili na lang kayo ng topic na gusto nyo. Kasi marami na yun. Since nag-COVID, we started last May,
17.
Kasi dapat, may aral tayo nag-COVID nga, so hindi natuloy. So yun ang ginawa namin, nag-charm kami. Every Monday, may action research talk. You can, hindi naman yung restricted In the internet, you can, subscribe. You can subscribe. Meron nga sa Facebook yun eh. Ako nga, hindi ko alam yung Facebook kasi hindi ko inano yun. But there is. Try nyo. Ayun oh. Ayun. Sino yung Si Patricia Ann. Not leader na leader. LIDER. Because that is La Salle Institute in the Development of Educational Research. Leader na LIDER. Yan. Correct. Nandun sa chat box. Leader at DLSU. Correct. Be helpful.
I can hear Doctor being protected at the background. Hello po, ma'am.
Kasi we are living in the same condo. Dito na kami na-trap.
Ma'am, another question here. Can you give
Sure.
an example of an action research that has successfully influenced a policy?
Ay, nako. You just look up them in the internet because there are a lot. No? There are a lot. Kami, as we are doing workshop and action research, ayaw namin magbigay ng template. Alam mo kung bakit? Kasi iba-iba naman ang ating concern eh. Tsaka, when we give templates to the teachers, yun na lang ang tinitingnan nila. Forfeited yung creativity ng teacher if you give templates. That's why we don't give templates. I mean, if you want to say an example, there are a lot of action researches all over the world, and they could be found in the internet. For example, if you can link with the DLSU library, learning center, mas maganda kasi most of our students who have graduated in the master's and PhD are doing action research. O kaya doon sa sinabi naming charm. Kasi yun, may mga experiences na nila. Ginawa na nila.
So, ma'am, there is another question.
Sure.
Parang ang naman po is, how are the public school teachers taking this action research? Kasi hindi po ba parang nagiging additional burden sa kanila yon? Kasi aside from their many paperworks, kailangan nila mag-conduct ng action research.
Yeah. Palagay ko hindi kasi this is already, there's already a memo from the DepEd that each teacher, particularly the master's teacher, should do action research. Yun ang nag-trigger sa amin na mag-conduct ng action research workshop. Kasi nakita namin na need for the public school teachers to do this. And we were very successful in coming up with this action research training, particularly in Region 10 sa Misamis Occidental. We've been going there for 3 years, on and off, in and out in that area, because one of the superintendent really was interested in doing an action research. Now, in that 3 years, all of them are action researchers.
Wow.
And they come up with an action research journal, the very first in the Philippines.
Wow.
Sila.
That's
So hindi
nice.
kami naniniwala na hindi kaya ng public school teachers. Kasi ang tinuruan namin, action research, mga public school teachers. And wala itong funding. Mga taga Mindanao ito. They spend their own money to do that action. Kasi hindi naman, for example, I will give you an example that they did action research, no? Yung may problema sila sa mga estudyante nila na grade schoolers na malnutrition. Ang ginawa nila, gumawa sila ng gulayan sa whatever.
Paaralan.
Yung mga ganun. And the parents were involved and they were successful on that. Ang participants namin for every time we hold the International Conference in Action Research, Action Learning dito sa La Salle, mga taga kanila, taga Region 10. And most of them are presenting papers on action research. And syempre, kasi sila lang naman ang palaging marami ang contingency, more than 70 people, teachers are joining us every year. Sila palagi nananalo. Diba? Ang achievement test na estudyante. So, hindi yun na. Kasi memo yan ng DepEd na every teacher, particularly master's teacher, should come up with 2 action researches.
So, kailangan din naman nilang gawin talaga, ma'am.
So, nagtataka lang kami, only few are inviting us to share our expertise in action research. But many are inviting us already to do the action research. And ang workshop ay hindi lang, ang action research ay hindi lang 1 day. The least that we could have for an action research, now talagang may output yung teacher when we do training, 3 araw.
So, hindi naman po kakayanin ng isang upuan lang.
No. Yan nga ito, pahapyaw lang to eh. Kasi ang action research as a course in the La Salle University is 1 term.
Wow. Ma'am, pwede pong paulit yung meaning ng charm?
Community habit of action research on Mondays.
Community habit of action research on Monday. So you may want to look into it sa DLSU Leader. Meron din silang YouTube channel.
Kanina, Ma'am Leia.
Hindi ito po.
Yung
nasa
kanina.
Link
Yun.
na nasa chat box. So,
yes, that's it.
In as much as we would like to extend the question and answer, the open forum, ma'am, we have limited time. So we are very much thankful for you. We would like to ask na lang the participants if there are other questions. Pwede naman po nating email na lang si Dr. Aguja. And then we could also request for the links that we are requesting, yung handbook. And thank you very much, ma'am, for that very, very enlightening talk and yung candid answering ng questions talaga, ma'am. Parang, sabi nga po, is parang kahit nakapikit po talaga kayo ay kaya niyong sagutin yung mga tanong on action research.
My pleasure, our pleasure.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So we hope action research is clearer now to everybody than before you joined the webinar. Now, let us move on to our next resource speaker. Thank you very much, ma'am. Our next resource speaker is Ms. Honeylen Libunao. She's currently finishing her master's degree in language education at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She obtained her bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in English at the same university. Ms. Libunao is currently the grade school English and mother tongue coordinator at the De La Salle University Integrated School, and she served as the junior high school English coordinator for 2 years. She has been teaching junior high school students in the same institution since 2012. Ms. Len, as her students and colleagues fondly call her, is also a textbook writer, teacher trainer, and has been invited to speak in different institutions about teaching and learning in the 21st century, becoming an innovative grammar and literacy educator, and designing effective and authentic assessments. To talk about designing authentic online assessments, let us all warmly welcome with a virtual applause, Ms. Honeylen Galfo-Libunao.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me clearly po?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen po?
Yes po.
Okay. Ayan. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Miss Len. You can call me Miss Len. So I'll be talking about designing authentic online assessments. So I want to thank everyone for joining today because it's for a cause, no? So thank you for joining and thank you Pagkalinga for inviting me, no? So before I start my presentation, so I would like to give a short background of myself, no, where I'm coming from, so that you have an idea of what the presentation is also coming from, making sense of the presentation. So I've been teaching in basic education. I noticed that most of our participants are professors probably or in the tertiary education. No, I believe naman even though I'm from basic education, my background is from basic education, you will learn something about how basic ed teachers do things in the classroom, and I believe that you can also apply them in yours, in your classroom, no? And also, after hearing Dr. Aguja's presentation, we can also think about designing authentic online assessments as one of our topics for action research. Now, there's so much that we can explore in terms of designing authentic online assessments, since it's already the new normal, no? So yeah, we can add into the field, no? Bridging gaps, no, in terms of research, no? So let's start. I'll be talking about four things, no? For my presentation. First is a situational, meaning where are we right now? Why are we here? I believe that even though we're in the pandemic, no, the situation of online learning is or has already started even before the pandemic. So why are we here? No, why are we talking about designing authentic online assessments? No, when online learning has been around for years. No, sobrang matagal na naman na ang online learning. No, so yeah, but we still need to talk about it. No, next is what assessment is and is not. No, I'll be talking about assessments in general, and then what authentic assessments are and online assessments, no? How unique online assessments are from traditional assessments, no? Next, guiding principles in designing authentic assessments, and of course, practical tips. I'll be also sharing apps that I use in the classroom that you may want to explore and add to your variety of apps that you use in your classrooms, no? So let's start with the situationer. Since I'm from the basic ed, no, basic education, I wanted to be as interactive as possible. So I actually use a third-party app within this presentation. So if you can, no, please join with me in Slido. No, you will be using a mobile phone or maybe a laptop, another tab where you will answer my questions. So I have prepared like 5 polls here, no, instead of using the Zoom polls. No, so again, you can use this for your classrooms. No, you're tired of just doing Google Meet and Google Slides. No, you can add another app where you can receive immediate feedback. So this is what assessment is all about. No, more on that later, basically. But basically, situation, where are we and why are we here? Let's start with this question: how are you, teach? No, kamusta ka, teacher? No, we're almost a year into online learning. I want to know, how are you right now, no, in terms of your feelings about all this online learning shebang, no? So if you could join me in slido.com, you can scan the QR code that you can see in the left part of your screen, or you can go at slido.com and then enter the code, no, where you can answer the question. So if you could do that right now, I'll be waiting for your answers to give me immediate feedback, no? How are you feeling right now as an online learning teacher? I think everyone's a teacher naman in the webinar right now, no? So let me know if you're having troubles going to Slido. Okay, I'm starting to get an answer, catching up on technology, that's good. Okay, overwhelmed, I feel you. Okay, so if you could add more. I'm surviving with a smiley, that's good. That's good attitude, surviving with a smile. Okay, any more answers? Anxious about the uncertainties, right? Tired, okay. Sige, keep it coming, teachers. You can just answer one word, feeling, okay, or phrases as you are doing right now. Thank you so much. I hope we can get more answers. Like 2 minutes more. Can we do that? or at least 15 answers. Okay, we have a couple of you were saying tired, missing the classroom, no? The Slido poll that I chose, so word cloud, no? So if a phrase or a word is repeated, no, word cloud siya. So it's a good way of looking at answers, no? Tired, okay, right. Tired and exhausted. Worried if my students learn from me. Right, that's right. At least 9 more. How many are we in the webinar pa? I think we're at least 40. Okay. So some are anxious, tired, catching up, overwhelmed, surviving, worried. Okay. Accommodating. Okay. Any more? Struggling. Okay. Struggling. One minute more. Trying to be okay. Okay, parang gusto ko kayong isa-isang i-hug and i-comfort as fellow teachers. I'm also teaching right now. I'm teaching currently subbing for grade 3 students. So it's really tiring. Okay, where are other excited on what will happen next year? That's a good attitude. Okay. We hope that everything will go back to normal, at least a new normal that is better than what we have right now. Okay, hoping that the students are learning from you or learn from you. Anything else? Okay, not satisfied on the output of my students. So very relevant to our talker today. Okay. Malaki pa rin yung tired, no? So madami talagang tired, no? Trying to be okay. Okay. Sige. Am I still waiting for answers? I would like sana for everyone to try this so that you can try it in your classrooms. No? So if you could join, I think we have a lot of time. Miss Pat, is that right? how how much time do I have? Until what time do I have? Okay. Um, students' output is not what we expected from them. Okay. Okay. Sige. I have other polls in the presentation, so don't worry. You can, to those who have who are trying to um, join and try Slido. No, we can do that again later. No, but we'll stop right here for this poll. No, so as expected. No, because I'm a teacher as well in a private institution. No, many of us are tired and overwhelmed about what is happening right now in the online setup. No, and it's not just about assessments. No, although I'll be focusing on assessments. No, I think the overall idea of teaching and learning in an online setup, no, it's tiring, it's overwhelming. No, I at when we were in the classroom, no, face to face instruction, we can do like 3-4 classes per day, no, pero ngayon when we do the online learning, parang ako dalawang klase lang, sobrang pagod, no, parang there's something different about it. So what is it, no, why are we overwhelmed, why are we tired, why are we struggling right now when I mean, technology has been integrated in the classroom for quite some time now. We are technology users. Our students are technology users. Online distance learning has been around for quite a while. Why is it still difficult? No? Why are we still struggling? No. So I want to start with that, no, that situation, because I think it will traverse to assessment, no. Okay. This is our learners, no. As teachers, we have a different background from our learners, but this is our learners, no? They learn by doing, no? Parang sobrang konti na lang ng estudyante na satisfied or content with just sitting around and listening to a teacher doing lectures, no? And from a teacher from the basic ed, we cannot do that, no? Ang grade school teacher cannot do a lecture for like 20 minutes straight. Kahit 20 minutes, we can't do that, no? Tertiary ed students, no, mga college students, yes, they can probably do that. But I think, no, the learners that will come in like 3 years from now, no, ganun na rin sila, no? They will be having a hard time focusing, no? Because they are multitaskers. No? If you see all the articles that come up in Facebook or online right now, lahat may links, no? We are being trained to not focus on just one task, no? We're trained to go to another link, no? Look at this other article, no? Look at this picture, look at this video, no? Parang everything is it's multi-sensory lahat, no? Articles, no? Videos, no? Yeah. So they are multitaskers. So if we don't know our learners, it will be very difficult. No? They are digital natives. They are born that when technology is already there. No? Tayo, yung mga medyo matatanda na, no? In-adopt na lang natin yung technology. But for our learners, they are born into it. No? So, ganun talaga. I have a 1-year-old daughter, no? Parang napakadali na lang sa kanya mag-navigate ng phone. Okay? And we don't even teach her. No, bawal nga sa kanya yung phone. Pero pag binigyan mo siya ng phone, video chatting with her grandparents, kayang-kaya niya na. I don't know why. No? There's something in the brain probably. No? Na iba na talaga. They are communicators and collaborators. You cannot, parang there is no Gen Z student right now who doesn't have a Facebook account, no? Who don't post what they think. No, it's an unimaginable like 10 years or 20 years ago to just say what's on your mind and share it with others. No, going for a walk. Like, why do you have to post that? No, but they are like that. No, they are communicators and collaborators. And of course, they are creators. No, parang nagbago na nag-shift na yung dreams ng mga bata from being a doctor or a lawyer to vloggers. Parang everyone wants to do something, create something, and then post them online, no? So these are our learners, no? And we need to get to know them, no? We need to know our learners so that when it comes in the classroom, whether it's online and whether or face to face, no, we know what to do. We know how to engage them, and that is basically the teacher's role, no? Why is it that teachers are still relevant when information can be Googled? Have you asked yourself that? Ako naisip ko din yun eh. Bakit we need to teach pa? Especially right now, may pandemic. Why can't we just postpone education? No? When students can just Google stuff, no? Everything that we can teach them, they can just Google. Because education is not like that. Education is about learning experience. So it's not just about knowledge, but experiencing how to learn. Your students should know how they learn. No, it's metacognition. No, paano nga ba ako natututo? Okay, do I learn by listening? Do I learn by performing? Do I learn by creating? No, so as teachers, that is our job. It's not just to teach content, no, and pasintabi sa mga professors na ganun yung tingin, no, that education, it's not just about giving knowledge and recalling knowledge. It's not regurgitating knowledge, no, parang ganun yung mga research, no, just recreating what is previously there, no, but we need to create knowledge creation na tayo, no. Yun yung gusto kong emphasize pagdating sa assessment. Bakit we are worried about cheat proofing our assessments, because our assessments are still about knowledge recall when it should be knowledge creation. No? So these are our learners and we need to get to know them. Okay. Another thing that I think contributes to the fact that we are struggling, okay, is how we integrate technology into the teaching and learning process. This SAMR model is actually 2010 pa. 10 years ago pa tong SAMR model na to. Kasi matagal na ang technology integration in the classroom, no? So in the SAMR model by Dr. Pentedura, no, he said that when we integrate technology in the classroom, it actually has four stages, no? The substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition, no? So the key here is to go dun sa MR level, yung transformation level. If you can see the model, no, yung sa right side, no, enhancement and then transformation, no. So the hope for technology integration in the classroom is not just to enhance, but actually to transform. Bakit ka pagod? Kasi minsan you're teaching what you do in the classroom is the same, no, in the face-to-face classroom is the same with what you are doing online. What does that mean? For example, assessment. May nagpagawa ka ng book activity, ang ginawa mo sa online, pinicturean mo lang, pinasagutan mo sa mga estudyante. That is not technology integration. That is just substitution. No functional change. Look at substitution there. Technology acts as a direct substitute, no functional change. Kaya siya nakakapagod. Imagine checking worksheets and book activities for like 90 students. We have 3 sections, no, for 30 students per section, 90. And then annotating online. That's too tasky. It's unnecessary for me. Okay? So our goal, no, in integrating technology in the classroom is not just to substitute technology. No, let technology do the work. Okay? Mami, I'll tell you the key, no? But basically, it's like that, no? Transform. We have to transform. We have to modify. We have to redefine our task and the way we teach, no? Ang assessment lagi yung kakonekta ng pedagogy, no? Bakit ba tayo nag-assessment? Okay? It's not just to evaluate students, not just to say, oh, you're a 95 student, you're a 75 student. It's not our job, no? The job of assessment or the purpose of assessment is to inform pedagogy. That is to make teaching and learning better. Okay? So, we hope, kaya siya nakakapagod kasi dandun lang tayo sa enhancement eh. The mindset is still in the face-to-face classroom, traditional classroom, no? We're not letting technology do the work and purpose, no, inform our decision making. So we need to modify. Technology allows for significant task redesign or redefine. Technology allows for the creation. Now look at this table right here, no? So this is your class task at the left, no? Note taking, no? Substitution, ginawa mo lang siya sa isang app, no? Notes app ng phone, okay? Or tinype mo lang sa Microsoft Word, okay? That's a substitution, okay? Augmentation, okay, you let your students choose, okay? Whatever app that is applicable to them. But modification and redefinition, no, it's different. No, teachers have access to all students' notes. Can you imagine that? While you're doing the lecture, your students are doing the notes and you can see the notes of your students. And see, correcting already, okay, learning from their note-taking skills. Bakit nga ba ganito yung note-taking niya? Bakit dictation? Parang dictation lang word for word. No? And then you can teach your students, you can't just type in word for word. Not intindihin yung sinabi ko and then summarize. No? And then that's a teaching and learning moment for you. Okay, so this is our hope. No? This is the hope of technology integration, that we don't just substitute technology. Okay? Don't just look for apps to do a job that you want to substitute from your face-to-face classroom, but a redefinition. No, do something new for your online classes. No, assessment. Look at the last row there. Assessment. Google Form. Substitution lang siya. Akala natin very revolutionary na yung pag-Google Form, right? Yung pag-quiz mo hindi na pen and paper, pero magsasubmit sila ng survey form. No, but it's actually still substitution. No, for modification and redefinition, do creative projects, creative assignments. Tapos, ang pag-check mo, audio feedback. Can you imagine it? Not just annotating, no, but actually saying something, no, audio feedback to the students. No, so I hope that we start thinking about what we are doing now in our online classes and why are we tired? No, I know it's tiring. No, I'm not demeaning or diminishing the work that you are currently doing right now, dear teachers. No, but we have to reflect on our practices right now, and maybe there's something that we need to change in terms of how we integrate technology in the classroom. No, and maybe later in doing assessments. Okay, let me just continue. Okay. So this is from Bandalaria 2007. She did a study on impact of ICTs in distance learning. This is in 2007. Ang tagal na nito, but still a problem, no? And basically, the point of the quotation is that when we choose apps or ICT tools in the classroom, we need to talk about other concerns, not just whether it's appropriate for you, for your task, no, but also about the how the students will access, no, your tools, no. Sa Philippines, sa third world country or developing, we don't talk, developing country like the Philippines, no, it's always about class division, no. It's all about access to quality resources, no. Laging merong aspect ng may internet ba sila sa bahay? They even have gadgets. They even have time to do this task or resources to do this task, no. So it's not just about the fancy or the term, yung pagka-sophisticated ng task mo. Ang ganda ng task mo, ang ganda ng assessment mo, ganda ng app mo, but your students can't do it because they don't have the resources to do it. They don't have the time to do it. They don't have the socio-emotional resources to do it, no. So we need to in the Philippines, so in our culture, in our situation, no, it's also at the back of our minds as teachers, no. And maybe that is also part of the problem, no. Why are we tired, no? Kasi ang hirap humanap na resources that would accommodate all our learners, and that is understandable, no. Even DepEd, no, we do modular learning, no, kahit may pandemic, teachers go out of their houses to distribute modules, no, because not all learners can access technology, no? So yeah, maybe that's part of our being overwhelmed as teachers, no. Okay, but I hope that after the talk we alleviate some of those concerns, no, by being purposeful in how we do things. Okay, so that is our situation. Okay, I'm done with my situationer. Okay, let's talk about assessment. Okay, so what assessment is and is not. So I'll start with assessment in general. So I have a poll again. So let's go to Slido again. If you quit already, so please go to Slido again. You will be answering true or false for these questions about assessment. Okay, let me know if you think these statements are true or false. Okay, so first one is assessment is for grading purposes. True or false? Okay, I'll be waiting for your responses. Kahit mga 5 responses or 10 responses. Nasa Slido pa ba kayo? Okay, 5 responses. More? Are there more? 6. 8. Okay. Siguro mga 10, hindi pa tayo tapusin natin. Okay. Siguro mga 3 or 4 questions, teacher. So, pwede pa namang humabol or mag-participate. Okay, so I chose statements that maybe are misconceptions. No, I hope that you teachers you already know these things. Okay, or these statements. Okay, so there are already 10 responses. Okay, so assessment is for grading purposes. Okay, of course it's false. No, it's not just for grading purposes. No, there are assessments that are not graded, no, and that is not just the purpose of assessment. I think this is where the difference between assessment and evaluation comes in. No, evaluation is definitely for grading, no, purposes, and then assessment is for improvement, okay, of pedagogy, okay, and also for monitoring of student progress. Okay, let's go to the second statement. Students can decide how they are going to be assessed. Okay. So, lalo na pag face-to-face, teachers get to decide what type of assessment, how they will be assessed, no? But can students decide how they are going to be assessed and how will this work? Okay, so it will be part of my presentation as well. For responses, six responses. Any more? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, true. Okay. Are you talking about mas madami yung false? Are you talking about our status quo or how it should be? Okay, so maybe we can delineate that. Okay, mas madami na yung true. Okay. Yeah, so it's true, no? Students can decide how they are going to be assessed, no? In the 21st century classrooms with the kind of students that we have, no, they also can decide, no, meaning for example, type of portfolio or what should be in their portfolio. So those are decision making by your students, no? And they are totally okay, and they are totally advisable as teachers, no? We're done with the era of teachers as masters of knowledge in the classroom, no? We're basically facilitators. We already know that, no, in all the seminars that we attended. We're just facilitators as teachers, no? So we can talk about this later, more on this later. Okay, let's go to the next statement. Parents can be part of the assessment process. True or false? So you can answer by your philosophy, no? Do you think parents can be part of the assessment process? Five responses so far. Eight responses. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, answer is true. Okay, so again, I'm even coming from the basic ed background. Now, I'm not sure about college students if parents is still have a say in how their students learn, how their children learn, no? But basically in the basic ed, no, yes, parents can be part of the assessment process, especially in this time. Can you just imagine students doing all this work by themselves without parents intervention? That is not possible, no? From our institutions experience, no, dami na 100 ngayon na mga students sa assessment. Is that bad? Maybe there's something that we need to work on the system, no? It's not a foolproof system, but I think that we can we have to do something about how parents can involve themselves in the assessment process, no? And more on that later. Okay, so yeah, so those are the statements, and then all those statements we will touch from as we go along the presentation, no? But let's go to dimensions of assessment. Again, this is the reason why assessment is not just for grading purposes, no? So assessment the assessment has to have purpose, no? That is very important. Why are you assessing? Just for the heck of it, we're done with that, no? We've been there, no? You know these teachers, no? High school ka, elementary tayo, pinagawa ka ng diorama, what for? I don't understand, okay? I don't know, no? So we're done with that, no? We can't just ask students to do something and then not knowing what it is for. Okay, kaya sabi ko nga, yung mga nasa tertiary education, you can learn a lot from this, because from the basic ed's perspective, this is what assessment is all about. Now, why are we doing this? Okay, so it's not just about learning goals. That is the second dimension, what to assess. It's not just about, okay, what is the topic? What are the learning competencies? No? Yes, it's a noble those are noble questions, but the fact is, why are we assessing, no? Is this for a grade? Is this for my student to know that they are improving? Is this for my teaching to improve, no? So those are important questions as well. Okay, third dimension, learning activities, how to assess. Okay, in an online learning environment, this is very important, no? How do you assess, no? Do you just take a picture of your book activities and then send it out for students to answer, or do you ask them to do something else so that they can actually show what they know? Okay, I want to emphasize that, actually show what they know, no? Hindi lang what they copied from the internet or what their parents told them the answers are. Okay, but what the students actually know. Okay, so those are important. Number 4, interpreting and judging learning, how to evaluate. Now, how after receiving the outputs of your students, what now? Do we ask ourselves that, teachers, natapos na ba tayo sa reflective teaching natin, no? Pagtapos mo ma-receive yung output, what now? Ano naman kung 90% yung estudyante na yun? Ano naman kung 65% na siya? What is the meaning if more than half of your students failed? You still ask these questions? Because those are important questions. Okay, sinabi ng subject coordinator mo or ng supervisor mo, do a frequency of errors in your pretest. We still do pretest, no? Nag-FOE pa ba kayo? What now? Okay, nangyari din sa amin yan. No, in our experience, no, after the pretest, mag-FOE ka, walang nangyari. Walang reflection na nangyari. Pinasa lang yung Excel documents. What does numbers mean? No, so we need to interpret them. Okay? So, pag ba more than half of your students will automatically magre-retake sila, how about reteaching? What does it say about your pedagogy, about the implementation of the lesson? Okay, I always tell my teachers, no, the teachers that I handle, no, when you ask for a diagnostic assessment, for example, or any type of assessment for that matter, especially self-assessment, no, you reflect, no, what is it for you, no, and the one of the correct answers, quote unquote, or one of the answers that should come out from the teachers is that your topic guide, so the list of your topic, your syllabus should change. Okay? And that is not revolutionary, dear teachers, no? Ang syllabus, hindi po yan nakataga sa stone. Okay? Ang syllabus po nakadepende po sa learners. Okay? Kapag may institution or may boss ka nagsasabi, bakit nag-change yung syllabus mo? That's wrong. Your syllabus should cater to your learners, no? After ng pretest, nalaman mo, I'm an English teacher, no? So my examples would be about grammar and literature. Kaya nalaman na nangyari sa akin to, nag-pretest kami about adverbs. Ang daming bagsak. Okay, ang daming hindi alam yung adverbs of time and place. And they are grade 9 students. So, I realized that after the pretest and asking my students why the results are like that, they don't even know the definition of adverbs. And it's not even in my topic guide. Because they're grade 9. They've been learning adverbs like since grade 4. So it's not anymore in the syllabus, define adverbs. But I need to do that. I needed to add it into the topic guide. I need to add it into the discussion because hindi pala nila, nakalimutan na pala nila yung ibig sabihin ng adverbs. Okay? So your syllabus, your syllabi, your topic guides, they're not set in stone. They have to change according to your learners. That is what it means by assessment. Okay? It has to change. It has to cater to your learners. Learners first, teachers. Okay? And last, number 5, feedback and reporting. How do you tell your students their scores? Are you just contented with saying, okay, you got 21/30? Wala bang estudyante na bumabalik sa inyo? What does that mean, miss? Okay? Am I a bad student? Did I not get the lesson? And we always get this, especially in online learning, no? Nagkatapos ng Google Meet session, tapos ng Zoom session nyo, do you have questions? Wala. And you feel it in your being, no? Being teacher na, okay, ang ganda ng discussion. Okay, nasagot nila lahat ng seat works. Lahat sila participative, no? Pero pagdating sa assessment, bagsak. So what is the judgment now, teachers? Natuto ba sila? Hindi. How do you tell their students that? Okay, so the form of feedback and the form of reporting is also important. Okay, do we do letter grades? Do we do numerical grades? Or is it better to say, you did well? I think your problem is that you're just careless. You just forgot to follow instructions. Those narrative reports, no? Those narrative comments are very helpful for your students and the parents, mind you, teachers. No? When I do that, no, parents would comment back kasi we have an LMS, the CISO, and say, we appreciate their comments. We will definitely follow up on the attitude and the study habits of my child. See, it is beneficial for both of you. You as a teacher, hindi ka na mag-worry following up about study habits or following instructions because the parents already know, okay, the problem is about following instructions, not just comprehension. Okay? So feedback and reporting, we have to think about them. No, it's not just enough that after mo ibigay instructions, students are left to themselves. No? So hindi natatapos yung assessment to. It's an ongoing, it's a process. Actually, yun, after nitong yun yung keyword natin. So assessment is not just of learning, ito yung summative assessment, no? But it's for learning and as learning. Assessment for learning, informed pedagogy. After mong malaman na bagsak kalahati ng class mo, what do you do? Okay, what should change in your pedagogy? Okay, baka masyadong mabilis yung discussion. Baka kulang ng motivation task. Okay? Hindi dahil sa hindi naiintindihan ng estudyante mo, but they are not in the mood or they are just not in the right mind or disposition, okay, to absorb your topic, no? So that's assessment for learning. Assessment as learning, students reflect on and monitor their progress. Still formative assessment, you can also insert self-assessment there, no? After receiving the results of their assessment, what are they thinking about? What should change in their study habits? Metacognition, no? Meta-learning, no? How do I learn, no? Dapat meron tayong at some point in the trimester or in the semester, at some point in our quarter, no? Merong avenue, opportunity for students to actually think about how they are learning. Is this not working for us, guys? Parang gano'n, no? We ask our students, hindi ba nag-work yung Google Meet natin na puro Google Meet lang? Do I need to add another app? Do I need you guys to unmute yourselves the whole time? It's those decision making, no? Yung sinasabi natin that students can have a say, no? Can decide something on their assessments. Okay? So that I encourage that, no, teachers, that at some point in the trimester we just stop with the teaching. No, it's not all about the teaching. Just talk about how we're going to learn, okay, with each other as teachers and as learners. Okay, and of course, assessment of learning. No? Hindi naman mawawala yung evaluation. No? We have to know whether learning competencies were achieved, no? Standards were achieved, no? We have standards. Kahit anong gawin natin, no? Kahit sa basic ed, sa DepEd, no? Napansin nyo ba, nagbago yung grading system ng basic ed, no? It's focused on performance tasks, but we still have standardized tests. So, hindi natin pwede pabayaan yung standardized tests. So, kailangan pa rin nung basics, ng foundation. So, we still have to have assessment of learning. So, huwag naman masyadong revolutionary na wala ka ng graded assessments in the classroom, no? We need that, no? These are standards, yeah. We need to set standards, and we need to see if we are actually achieving them, no? Okay, so again, the keyword is process. Assessment does not end with just informing your students the results of their assessment of the test. Okay, so it's not the end all and be all. No, it informs pedagogy. It allows students reflection. Okay, and then it can also go back to policy. No, kung gusto mong mag-action research dito, gusto mong i-affect yung policy, no, why not try writing sa DepEd na pati tertiary? Ibahin yung grading system, mag-focus on performance task, wala nang departmental exams, why not? No? So it's a process, no? So that is assessment. I hope I get to get you to reflect on your practices and your mindsets about assessments. Okay? Okay. So what is authentic assessment? We have been hearing this, no? Hindi na bago tong concept na ito. And I would like to quote from Wiggins, 1998. This is mga basic eds dyan, no? Wiggins and Mactay, no? Kilala natin yan, mga nag-UBD, essential question, essential understanding, grasp, no? I think this is what authentic assessment is, no? First is ask the student to do the subject. Okay? So, we're not just about, sabi ko nga, knowledge recall. Hindi na pwedeng what you know. Hindi na sapat yung I know that, no? But you have to do it. What is really a language class? No? Ang language class ba is all about just grammar? No, a language class is actually a thinking class. No? A language class, an English class, a Filipino class is actually a thinking class. No, it teaches you how to think. Okay? Using a language that you know best. Okay? So that is doing the subject. That is authentic assessment. Okay? Number 2, replicates or simulates realistic context. Kaya in-introduce ni Wiggins and Mactay yung grasp eh. If you are familiar, yung goal, role, audience, situation, product, and standards. No, these are for performance tasks. No, we believe that assessments should be anchored in realistic context. So when you ask our students, for example, to write an essay for what? No, so we can ask our students that we can tell our students, you know, you can pretend to be a newspaper writer and you're writing for a newspaper. Okay, so that way your students know that ay okay, may pinupuntahan yung project. Okay, I can actually use this skill. Okay. When I'm out of school, no, especially right now that we students have a choice not to go to college anymore, diba? Pwede na because of senior high school. After mo senior high, hindi ka na pwede ka nang hindi mag-college, no? So we need tasks that are more simulated in realistic context. Tama na yung mga tasks na gumawa ng greeting card, tapos wala namang pupuntahan. Okay, no? Or diorama. Ayoko talaga ng diorama. Joke lang naman. Pwede naman yun, of course, for engineering courses, no? But basically, yung purpose for assessment natin is to simulate realistic context, no? Next, assess students' ability to use a repertoire of knowledge and skills. So, when we do assessments, it's not just about one learning competency. So, sa basic, we discourage just one learning competency for an assessment. So, kung nouns lang, hindi pwedeng nouns lang. Dapat mayroong sentence writing. Okay? So, dapat, ang authentic assessment, it combines knowledge, no? It's not isolated bits of information that you want to assess, no? Again, we are talking about what the students can actually do. No? And doing a task involves different knowledge, no? Different pieces of information. So kapag pag nagluto ka, it's not just about knowing the ingredients, but it's about the cost or the servings, the serving size, and the nutrition value. No? So all those bits of information. No? So dapat hindi lang one knowledge yung i-evaluate. No? Next, allows appropriate opportunities to rehearse, practice, consult resources, and get feedback on and refine performances and products. This is what I like. No? In an authentic assessment, students can change their answers. Okay? O wag masyadong mabigla. By change their answers, it's about changing their mindset. Okay, pagtas niyang gawin yung task, parang I realize it does not work. So I need to do something else. Kaya siya performance task. No? Ang performance task, you don't just give it na, okay, do this. No? Dapat may scaffold. Okay, before doing it, actually may draft process. Tapos may revision. Okay, tapos drafting ulit kung hindi pa rin perfected. So yun yung authentic assessment. Because in reality, you don't do something and then get it perfect the first time. Right? No? So we need to try and test. Okay? And refine. Okay? Kaya meron siyang consult resources. If need be, kaya gusto rin yung grasp, no? If need be, talk to an expert. No, why not invite in your class an actual engineer to talk about the performance task? Okay? Invite nyo sa Google Meet. Napakadali na yan ngayon. Dati mahirap yung face-to-face. Mag-i-invite ka, may pasok sila. Ngayon, they can just call sa Zoom. No? Gusto mo magpagawa ng isang task, tapos students are going to imagine they're scientists. Why not contact a real scientist so that students can consult? Those are authentic assessments. Okay? Hindi lang tayo yung source ng information. No? May experts. And they can rehearse, they can practice, they can feedback, and they can refine. Okay? So that's authentic assessment. Madami pang facets ng authentic assessment, but basically the gist is that it's realistic, it's focused on performance, focused on doing, on skills, not just on knowledge, no? Knowledge creation, and information does not come just from the teachers, no? They can consult other resources, and students can refine their products, no? They can reflect on their mindsets and change. Okay? So kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga pen and paper natin dati na multiple choice, no? Traditional assessment yung tawag natin sa kanila, not authentic assessment. Okay? Online assessment, I included this because there are very specific and unique characteristics of online assessment that we need to know, okay? And that we can consider in making our online assessment. So, of course, online assessment is done online or remotely, meaning asynchronously. You don't have to be online, no, but the tasks are given remotely, not face-to-face. Promotes learner control and customizability. No? So your students have the choice on what app to use. Okay, when can be self-paced, no, not self-taught. Dear teachers, self-paced meaning when they can actually do it, not self-taught, meaning they parang hinahayaan lang natin silang turuan ng sarili nila. It's not like that, no? Hindi to ganito, hindi ganon, no? Ito yung mga reklamo ng parents na parang sila na yung nagtuturo, no? So authentic online assessments should be self-paced, not self-taught. Okay, flexible meaning if a portfolio, for example, can be a scrapbook, a digital portfolio, it could be a book. No, it's flexible. As long as the skills are met, as long as the objectives of the task are met, there shouldn't be problems, no, with what kind of outputs the students create, no? And concerns on integrity of results. Of course, this is one of our main concerns, no? May integrity ba yung results ng evaluation? Ang gumawa ba niyan parents, no? And of course, the way to do it, the way to solve this is that our task should be, again, knowledge creation. That's the only way it can be cheat-proof. Hindi na Google, not Googleable information, but students' unique abilities will be shown, no? Not just what they know. Okay? So that's assessment for you. Haba-haba pa, so medyo bilisan ko na lang. No? Parang haba-haba na yung discussion ni Ms. Len. Okay, let's talk about guiding principles. Okay? Guiding principles, meaning what are the things that we need to consider when we're designing assessments. So first, we forget about previously held assumptions. No? What is a pen and paper test? We have to forget. We have to change our mindsets about how we do assessments, because we cannot just transfer. Again, some are model. We cannot just substitute technology. No, we need to redefine our assessments. Okay. Second, formative assessment is more important than summative assessment. Okay. Mas madami talaga dapat opportunities for formative assessments than summative assessment. Okay? So wag kang papayag na magbibigay ka ng task without scaffold, no? Walang guided activity muna. Dapat step by step. Sorry. Okay? So formative. Next is assessment is never complete without feedback. We always give feedback, no? So depende sa napili mong assessment, you have to give your students feedback, no? Kung book activity yan, check them. Okay? Binigay mo check them. Kahit pa 100 pages yung i-check mo, you have to give them feedback. Okay? Next, consider intrinsic motivation. This is a part of online learning that is very important, both for the teacher and students. It's socio-emotional. Why are we tired, and why are our students stressed out? No, because some of the tasks that teachers give, walang hindi kino-consider yung motivation ng estudyante. No, meaning motivation, meaning competition, for example, rewards, no, relevance ng task sa kanilang lives right now. Pandemic pero ang gusto mo lumabas sila ng bahay to get something, no? What can the home and the family offer? No, tap on that. No, tap on that on your assessments. No, ask your grandparents. Ako may mga ganun ako. You can ask the students, instead of consulting in the dictionary, I told the teacher, tell their students to ask their parents or their grandparents instead of the meaning of these words. What can the home and the family offer? No, those are intrinsic motivation. Connected with that is a student's agency and awareness of their own learning. No, so part of solving this is getting to know your students, like individually. And as teachers, we can do this, no? We know our students. Alam mo kung sino yung students na walang gadget. Alam mo kung sino yung students na may kaya. Alam mo yung students na may emotional load na dinadala. No, let us be considerate, no? Yung justice ba for everyone, you know that yung very sikat na picture, no? Yung about equity and equality, no? So hindi naman sa binibigyan natin special considerations sa mga batang to, but we it's part in our subconscious, no, to give considerations, no, depending on our students' status. Process over product always, no. We also grade revisions. We also grade drafts. Okay, not to degrade the student, but to actually give credit to the thinking process that went into the making of the product, no. So pwede yun. Gradean mo yung ang final product ay article. Gradean mo yung brainstorming draft ng bata. Okay, process over product. And employ a variety. So pag online assessment, sobrang nakakapagod yung nakaupo lang yung mga bata. So there should be a variety. Huwag naman puro Google form. Okay? Madami pong apps, no, na pwede tayong i-explore. No? I'll give you some later. Okay? So, and again, one of most important part of online learning is Maslow before Bloom. Meaning, we prioritize the socio-emotional aspect of the child than actually getting all this knowledge, no? All this learning competency. We have to get to know our children, our students, and we have to consider their status, no? Their state of being. Okay, importante yun. At ganun din tayo, teachers, no? Huwag mong pahirapan yung sarili mo. Huwag kang magpa-book activity ng 100 pages. Okay? Magpa-portfolio ka ng matagal, yung may scaffold, para hindi ka mahirapan mag-check. No? Maslow before Bloom din, teachers. Para hindi tayo napapagod. Huwag natin pagurin ng sarili natin. Okay? Okay, and some more practical tips. I'm almost done. Okay, instructions and questions should be clear, concise, and free from ambiguity. No, pag binasa ng estudyante, they won't have to go online again just to ask you the same question. No, so it's very important for online learning. Okay, tasks should be designed with accessibility in mind. Again, hindi ka pwedeng magpa-iTunes U, for example, or Apple, it says app, kasi wala namang Apple products yung mga estudyante natin. No? So tasks should be designed with accessibility in mind. Next, marking scheme should be fair, transparent, and weighted appropriately and clearly communicated to students. We love rubrics. Okay, we should love rubrics, teachers. No, our rubrics cancels subjectivity. No, hindi maganda lang yung gawa pero wala man laman, ganyan. No, so gawa ka ng rubric na maganda. Okay. So, and it should be transparent, weighted appropriately, and communicated to students. Okay. Next, online assessors should not test the ICT skills of the student. So, it's not about whether they can navigate the apps, but the purpose of the assessment. No? So, wag tayo masyadong fancy or sophisticated with our assessment, pero hindi naman pala kayang i-access ng mga bata. No? So it's not about their ICT skills. Next, do more performance tasks. I suggest this especially for tertiary education. No? Consider vertical and horizontal integrations. By vertical and horizontal integrations, meaning interdisciplinary, talk to the math teacher of the child, talk to the SOCSI teacher. How can you collaborate so that you have one project for like 5 subjects? We do this in our school. No? It will certainly help. No? Vertical, pwedeng another section. No? We can do, for example, in junior high school nyo, ang project nyo sa English, turuan ng grammar lesson yung grade 3. Okay? Hindi ka na nagtrabaho, okay? Ang ganda pa ng integration, no? Pasok na pasok pa sa standards, okay? So do more performance tasks. Involve parents and students through self-assessment. Yes, the parents can have a say in the evaluation of their students, no? Give them a rubric as well. Okay, meron po mga available na rubric for parents. For example, ano na yung progress ng anak mo in terms of study habits? Let them grade their children. And mind you, as parents na nag-care for their students, they will answer that honestly, no? And you will see the progress. And lastly, apps can do the job for you. Okay, wag pahirapan ng sarili. There are apps available already that can help you with the checking, okay? That can help you with the feedback and monitoring and giving feedback to your students. So here are some apps that I use. This is not exhaustive and definitely not everything, okay, na maganda, no? You can still explore, no? But these are what I find very beneficial for my students. They're junior high school and grade school students. So iTunes U, you can get their lectures from Harvard professors, no, from Ivy League schools, mga course materials, no, mga junior high students and tertiary education teachers, no. You can get resources there. Turnitin, this is for plagiarism checker, no. So whenever I have essay requirements or paper requirements, I have my junior high school students submit them in Turnitin. Pero yung karamihan na ito ay kailangan ng premium accounts, no. So pwedeng ilakad nyo sa institution nyo na bumili ng mga subscription, no, because they're very helpful. Advisor for quizzes, no? Quizzes, ganito din for grade school, no? Very fun na quiz, no? May mga power-ups, no? Very interactive, ganda ng sounds, ganyan. Kahoot, very competitive. I think madami na sa inyo nakatry nito. So again, competition is one of the intrinsic motivators. So you can tap that. Kapag may competition, sobrang sigla ng mga estudyante natin, if you will notice. Of course, G Suite apps and Pear Deck. For my presentations, I use Slido, but you can also use Pear Deck. It's more colorful, more student-friendly. You know, you may want to also explore on that. Okay? So thank you very much, dear teachers. I hope that you learned something. And if you have questions, of course, you may ask po. And you may email me. This is my email address po. You can take note of that for your questions. And for example, apps that I have many apps that I use, so I can share them with you po. So there, thank you so much po.
Thank you very much, Ms. Len. Once again, you may type in your questions on the chat box. So first question we have here from Mr. Homer Makawili from Eastern Samar State University. What are the effective assessment and evaluation for modular approach in teaching?
Modular approach. I'm not. I'm not a public school teacher, so I don't know like in the ground how it works. No. So, pero I believe pag modular, it's still like pen and paper, no? Pero you can do, kahit na pen and paper yan, you can do away with multiple choice test, for example. You can do situations, no? Kunwari sa sentence writing, may themes ka, no? Pwede yung mga ganun yung assessment. Or yun nga, performance task. Hindi papalya yung performance task, no? Kahit sa modular learning. No, pwedeng ang output mo ay paper, pwedeng output mo ay creative writing, no? So, yun po.
Another question here from Patricia Ann Medina. Is it advisable to have portfolios instead of objective assessments?
Advisable, but I'm from basic ed, no? So medyo may bias ako. Yes, it's advisable. But again, we go back to the purpose of assessment. Why are we doing this? What are you assessing and why are you assessing? So meron naman talagang situations when objective tests are very important. So for example, technical writing or so for example sa sciences or sa math, no? Nasa humanities department kasi ako. Pero yeah, there are situations when objective tests are still very important. Again, we go back to the purpose of assessment. What are we assessing and why are we assessing? No, yeah.
This is a question from me. How can we remedy yung mga competitive parents na sila yung gumagawa ng mga activities ng mga anak nila?
Right. Again, from a parent's perspective, I'm also a parent. No, we cannot just stop, just tell the parents to stop and not do the work of their students. So, but basically, first step siguro, for example, we have a say in the matter. No, we can send a message to our parents and tell them that really the purpose of this is for your students to learn. Second is to show the parents the importance of assessment. By that I mean, makikita nila yung progress ng estudyante nila in terms of attitudes in learning, no? Kapag nakita nila na okay, kapag pala mas independent yung task at yung anak ko lang yung gumagawa, okay, mas motivated siya kaysa yung ako yung gagawa, no? At tinatamad siya lalo, no? So kailangan lang ipakita sa parents yung progress ng estudyante natin. And also we have to give our students the voice, no, the opportunity to tell their parents na I can actually do it, mama. No, you don't have to teach me. Okay, my teacher already gave me the step 1, the step 2. I will just do the step 3. No, I can do it myself. No, so and siguro we can also do away with sa mga institutions if you can, no, yung honors na yung honor system natin, siguro ibang reward system or ibang award system, pero yung being competitive as in top 1, no, maybe we can change something in that, no, or change the mindset of kasi I think ginagawa lang naman yun ng mga parents to if they're aiming for honors or perfect scores, no. But if we tell them that perfect scores does not mean anything if your children do not learn, no, I mean there should be a change in the mindset also in terms of reward system and what is most important, okay, in learning, kumbaga.
Thank you, Ma'am Len. Another question here from Miss Sarah Janine Esguerra of LSPU. You mentioned po the audio feedback. What free application po ang pwedeng gamitin for that?
Yung mga free applications kasi, there just a certain limit, okay, on the number of feedback that you can give. For example, sa Wiser, sorry kasi pag grade school yung background ko, no, pero sa Turnitin din, meron din kung may subscription kayo, and instead of annotating yung essays, no, na parang correct the spelling, you can do audio feedback there, makakapag-record ka ng voice. But again, you need a subscription, no, so your institution can can probably buy a subscription for you. Um, for Google Form, I think as a Google Form, but you can also record instructions, and you can also record feedback there. Okay. I can collate some more. I'll be asking my teachers then for other apps, the free apps that they can use. Kasi nasa institution account kami, so medyo may kaya, no? Binibili ng institution yung premium accounts. So, but I'll be collating some free apps for you, and I can send it to you.
Thank you, Ma'am Len. Any more questions? If wala na po tayong ibang tanong, so thank you all for being participative in today's webinar. Thank you, Ma'am Len, for that very enriching, parang na-enrich talaga yung knowledge namin about assessments.
Thank you so much po.
So we hope na madami po kayong bagong kaalamang ibabaon. Dati pag-uuwi, pero ngayon pagka-log out. Now, to show our utmost gratitude to our resource speakers, we would like to award the certificates of appreciation with the citation as follows. Okay, we would like Pagkalinga, in collaboration with the Philippine Association of Research Managers, PHILARM, presents the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Socorro Aguja for partaking in Project Pagbangon, a joint webinar series on education, research and extension, webinar series episode 3, Education in Action, with talks on facilitating change through action research by Dr. Socorro Aguja, and designing authentic online assessment. So, by Ms. Honeylen Libunao. Wait, ma'am. Medyo nagkaano lang kami dito. To Dr. Aguja, held on the 18th of December 2020, signed by Dr. Jamison H. Tan, President BOSI, Ms. Patricia Anti Medina, Chairperson Pagkalinga, and Dr. Miriam Mani, President PHILARM.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And another certificate of appreciation, the same citation, Pagkalinga, in collaboration with the Philippine Association of Research Managers, PHILARM, presents the certificate of appreciation to Ms. Honeylen Galfo-Libunao for partaking in Project Pagbangon, on a joint webinar series on education, research, and extension, webinar series episode 3, Education in Action, with talks on designing authentic online assessments, held on the 18th of December 2020, signed Dr. Jamison H. Tan, President BOSI, Patricia Anti Medina, Chairperson Pagkalinga, and Dr. Miriam C. Mani, President PHILARM.
Thank you so much po.
Thank you po sa aming mga resource speakers. And also to show our appreciation to Bulacan Agricultural State College for co-hosting this event. Pagkalinga, in collaboration with PHILARM, presents the certificate appreciation to Bulacan Agricultural State College for co-hosting Project Pagbangon, a joint webinar series on education, research, and extension, webinar series episode 3, Education and Research, held on the 18th of December 2020, signed Patricia Anti Medina, Chairperson Pagkalinga, and Dr. Miriam C. Mani, President PHILARM. Thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. For today's webinar, we have a total of 40 logged-in participants. Salamat po talaga ng marami. The Pagkalinga team is very grateful as we were able to generate as much as 13,000 to be donated to the farmer cooperators of BOSI, severely affected by Typhoon Ulysses. For your e-certificates, please don't forget to click the evaluation link that we are going to post in the chat box, or you may see later in our group page. Please ensure that your email addresses are correct, as well as the spelling of your name, as it will be automatically generated after completion of the evaluation form. And for the much-awaited moment, please turn on your camera and give us your best smile. So, Sige, ikaw ang kukuha ng picture. So, medyo mag-freeze lang po tayo ng konti kasi hindi natin alam kung kailan na tayo kinukuha ng picture. Basta smile lang ng smile.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Say next.
Ready, Smile. 1, 2, 3. One more. Next page. 1, 2, 3. Wait, one more. For just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, smile. Last. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right.
Okay, so this is our last hooray before Christmas. Thank you po for participating. And because you have requested for the next, we will update you on our upcoming webinars. Again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for participating and sharing your blessings. Merry Christmas. Please watch the video as our closing. Sound. You may start accessing the evaluation link. It's posted in the chat box.